back to football. First question, will Patrick Mahomes have a better season this year without Tyreek Hill?
No, not statistically. I don't see that happening. It's as great as Patrick Mahomes is, Tyreek Hill is a special player that we can watch that right there. 70-yard touchdown off of like a 15-yard pass. It's really nice to be able to have someone that you know you can get him a short pass, he'll make it a big play, or someone that you know when you're in trouble, he's fast enough to run down any pass that you can throw. That guy's no longer on that roster. It's going to make it more difficult for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, all right. Well, that was an easy one to get you started. This one's a little tougher. Who will be this season's Cincinnati Bengals, meaning the team that could potentially surprise everybody and land in the Super Bowl?
This is much harder, but I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I think that the point of being a Cincinnati Bengals is not just from going worst to first, is that it also has to be a bit of a surprise. So, like, I could pick the Ravens because they were the worst in their division last year, but they had a lot of injuries and things like that. But the Jaguars do, like the Bengals, have a young, very talented quarterback, and they've addressed some offensive line issues, which we know makes life easier for that quarterback. And they brought in Trevon Walker to help with that defensive line pressure. So I'm not sure that they will do it, but if you look around that division, I think the Colts are a very, very talented team. We'll see what happens when Matt Ryan gets there, but it's not a division that has a bunch of juggernauts. I think the Titans have taken a step back, and I don't think that the Texans are really trying that much this year. So I think it's possible. It's a long shot, but it's possible that the Jags could have a sneaky win in that division.
That would be a surprise Super Bowl team to a lot of people for sure. One more. Look, we know Tom Brady's back in Tampa Bay. So far, Rob Gronkowski is not. Whether he will be or not remains a mystery. Can Tom Brady win the Super Bowl without Rob Gronkowski?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's done it before, and I think Rob Gronkowski is a nice piece to have, but he's not the young Rob Gronkowski that he was before. He's pretty reliable target for him, but is it Edelman talking about maybe he's coming back? He'll find a way. It does not seem like going to the Bucs is going to be, or playing with Tom Brady is going to be a hard hole to fill. They'll find people to fill in around Tom Brady. Hell, Dan, you get in shape, he might win you a ring. Get healthy, play that slot receiver. What do you think about that? No?
That is far less likely even than the Jaguars playing in the Super Bowl. So we won't even need to get into that. It's not even worth our time to break down that possibility. That was answer the question, but Louis Riddick wants to play a game too, and this one's called Right or Wrong. I'm going to make a statement, and Louis, you're going to tell me if that statement is right or wrong. First one, the Green Bay Packers are a lock to win their division.
Look, I think that's wrong. Look, I think you have, and simply because of the fact that the Minnesota Vikings are going to be a football team that's going to be tough to contend with. So it's not so much about the fact that Aaron Rodgers lost Devontae Adams and that we just don't know how the perimeter weapons are going to shake out. I think Minnesota is going to be formidable. You hear Kirk Cousins talking about the fact that him and Kevin O'Connell and this team overall feel really good about how things went this past spring, and they've got some good players, so I don't think it's a lock at all.
All right, how about this one then? Baker Mayfield is done as an NFL starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's too hard to say. So I think that's wrong. I think there could always be the possibility that there's a team that because of injury needs someone who wants Baker Mayfield's resume, which quite honestly was much better earlier in his career than it has been recently, and that could always come to fruition this year, provided that the Browns go ahead and trade him or let him go and let him become a free agent.
All right, so I'm 0 for 2 here. How about this one? The Chicago Bears will be the worst team in the NFL this year.
Unfortunately, I think you may be right here, so I'm going to go right, and I think it's because of this. Look, I know Justin Fields made the comments that he made about them not being ready to play right now, but it just sounds like this is a guy whose head is swimming offensively to grasp what Luke Getsy, their offensive coordinator, is trying to implement. And on top of it, from a personnel perspective, the offensive line, I have a lot of questions about, particularly at the tackle positions with Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum. I don't know if they've given Justin enough weaponry out on the perimeter to go along with Darnell Mooney. And defensively, they are just devoid of talent, man. And if Robert Quinn is not there, and he's a guy who continues to hold out, man, it could be an ugly season in Chicago.
Yeah, it definitely has a rebuilding feel to it, right? New head coach, new GM, new offensive coordinator. You mentioned those comments by Justin Fields earlier this week. We want to play them for you. Earlier this week, he was asked, would they be ready if the season started right now? This is what he had to say.
No. Not ready for the season to start. I'm the type of guy that, like to know that I'm prepared. So right now, I'm just being honest. We're not ready to play a game right now. So, but when that time comes, we will be ready. So right now, no, I'm not ready to play a game.
Dominique, your thoughts on young Justin Fields' answer there?
It seems like an obvious answer. No one is ready to play right now. We haven't even started training camp. But I could imagine that this is going to be one of those things like when Justin Fields last year in the preseason said that the game felt slow to him. This is one of those things that is probably going to hang over him and people are going to use against him. But the fact of the matter is, no one's ready. We're not even in training camp. Leave that man alone. He's just trying to get ready to get a little bit better. And, of course, he needs to learn that sometimes you got to lie to us. We don't want the truth all the time because we're going to find ways to pick at you if you're a little too honest, which he was right there.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with the comments, right? He's being honest. Like, you're not supposed to be ready to play in the middle of June. Lewis, what did you think?
Look, I get what you're saying, that no one's ready to play a football game right now because your mindset's not really geared towards that. But I'm going to go a little deeper on this. Look, I think there's a huge learning curve for him. He's learning a whole new offense again. All right, and this to me sounds like someone who's saying, "Hey, look, I have a lot of things I'm trying to really right now download into my brain so I can play a little bit faster and play with more confidence this year and make that huge second-year leap. And I'm not ready right now." Come September, of course he's going to say, yeah, I'll be ready then. Well, we'll see. We'll see how ready they are. And I don't think this is just about Justin. Look, I know he's not really talking about this, but this football team around him, you tell me how they got better offensively to the point where he will then be able to just let his athletic ability shine. I don't see it, man. I don't see it, and I hate that for him. I hate it for him, but I think this is going to be, as you said, Dan, this could be an ugly year for Chicago. I just really think it could be.
Well, we'll see if Justin Fields tonight. We have the possibility that the Warriors win the game and the series tonight. They know this. They've been here before. They've been in every possible position, it seems, in the playoffs. Brian, what does their past experience tell you about Golden State's mindset going into this game?
Well, look, they have an incredibly decorated last decade, especially the core players on this team. But the mark that is on their record that will never be erased is when they lost a 3-1 lead to the Cavs in 2016. I'm sure every time they see the numbers 3 and 1 together, a little shiver goes up their spine. So they get a victory in this game tonight. They don't have to hear about any of that. This goes back to Game 7. Then you start thinking, like, there's no way they could blow 2 leads in the finals in their history. And I'm telling you, you do not want that on your mind going into that situation. So I definitely think the Warriors are motivated to avoid even having to worry about that going into a potential Game 7 on Sunday.
If they do win it tonight, if they use that motivation, they finish him off tonight, Vince, what does that mean? What if they win tonight and he's the MVP, which I would imagine he would be if he has a big game and they win tonight, what does that mean for Curry's legacy for you?
I think it'll mean everything to him. I still think his legacy is solidified. It just opens that next elite door for Steph Curry that a lot of us can't talk about or don't know about. There's just a few people when he opens that next door. There only will be a few people in that room. So I think what the MVP does for him is, yes, he has that. His shelf is complete, but he gets the key, that special key to go to the next room that we all have no clue where that door is. So for him, it's winning the championship is a great accomplishment, and I think it's a great accomplishment for their team after what they've been through the last couple of years. But for Steph alone, let's just be clear. We can say, oh, he wants to win a championship. He wants that MVP, and you can see how he's come out and played in these finals, and you will see that tonight.
Our viewers may have noticed Dominique Foxworth joining in for this basketball discussion. Not just a random decision. Dominique once worked for the NBA Players Association, has a little bit of a connection to the game, in addition to his NFL experience. Dominique, watching this series and Steph Curry, how do you size this all up tonight?
First of all, Dan, you ain't got to explain to the people why I'm here. I'm here because I want to be here. I love basketball just like the rest of y'all. No, I think Steph's performance tonight is going to change the way a lot of us who are around the game, talking about the game, feel about him. But in actuality, I don't think it changes anything about his legacy. Like, we already understand where he is on the Mount Rushmore, maybe not on the Mount Rushmore, but on the list of all-time NBA greats. And we understand that he's going to be the face of, like, the modern game, even though it was really just like modern math, or actually simple math that changed the game for us to understand that threes are more than twos. But he's the guy who really got us all to believe and understand that a little guard like that can be someone that you can build a team around. You don't have to look for the, like, unicorn type players like LeBron James.